Reset your preset. Fun 1071, more music, more fun.
Hey, what's up? It's Rashaud, and I'm backstage at the Stone Pony Summer Stage with Maddie from the 1975.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good to see you again.
Thank you.
You seem a little tired. You've been busy touring North America.
Yeah.
And you're close to the end of it.
Yeah.
How's it been?
It's been amazing. This is kind of the last week. We went home to do like a couple of festivals and stuff. I mean, we love touring America, especially post the album doing so well. It's kind of been like a bit of a celebration.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
And congratulations on that. #1 on the Billboard 200.
Yeah.
And how does it feel to, I guess, make it here in America? Because that seems to be a thing that a lot of artists who aren't from America, like, they want to achieve a level of success here, and then they do it. How does that feel?
I mean, it's very humbling because the record that we made was really proper. It was a proper kind of personal statement, regardless of how commercially well it did. So I think that there was the record itself doing well and not having so much ego involved in it. That was good for us. But I think that there's never, as you keep going, and I suppose it's difficult to define what ambition is. There's never really a ceiling to it. So, to say like that you've broken America, I think like, Garth Brooks has broken America. Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But I'm just very. It's an amazing. It's amazing for a band that I think's actually quite specific, even though we're very ambiguous, kind of geographically and sexually and racially and all these kind of things. There's a lot of like Englishness to it. There's a lot of me to it. So it's nice that it translates.
Absolutely, and of course, because you write and you're a part of producing all of the music. And I noticed that is it a conscious decision not to have any features, collaborations, and things of that nature?
I suppose it kind of is and it isn't. I mean, we have worked with other people and it's been all right. It's just that it's not that I don't play well with others. It's just that this is something that kind of happened to us as opposed to us trying to do it. Like, we never really had any careerist ambitions because there was such a purity to what we were doing. Even though we were making like pop music in a bedroom, it was still just 5 people making pop music in a bedroom. So when people started to hear it, it's almost like people starting to hear your diary. And I think that once we started to become a part of the fabric of culture, I started to kind of cultivate this really personal world of the 1975. And I think that I think up until now I've seen other people as like outsiders,
Okay.
But not in I'll obviously, I'm a big fan of other people, and I'll sing the praises and say who I love and stuff like that. But we've yet to collaborate properly. We worked with like Travis Scott and stuff. Yeah. But not like maybe on the next record.
Okay. All right. And speaking of that, who are you listening to when you have the time to listen to music? Who among your peers are you like, that was a good album? Shamir, okay.
At the moment, I didn't really know how good Shamir was. Okay. I hadn't heard his music, but I just saw him live about 20 minutes ago, and it blew my mind.
Wow.
I love him as a person as well. I think that who do I like? I don't know. You know. People. Who's good now?
Do you like the new Drake album?
I love Views. Obviously.
Okay, awesome.
I like the.
Did you like Kanye West's album?
I love Kanye. I like that a lot of the biggest artists in the world are actually making quite kind of culturally defining music, or appear to be doing, like Justin Bieber and stuff like that. There's a lot of people behind it, but like you've got like Work by Rihanna.
Yeah,
is one of the best songs of the year.
I would say so.
Or last year, and regardless of like left field this or pop music that, just as a piece of music, it's one of the best things. Yeah. And that's weird for me to say because I'm quite a lyrical artist, and I always say pop music must have there's just something about it. I think that when there's a je ne sais quoi to a song, So I can't say what Work is what I'm listening to as my answer because that makes me sound like an idiot.
No, it makes you seem as though you're a fan of pop culture and pop music.
The thing is, we don't have any rules like in regards to like what's cool or what we're not allowed to listen to, because we take the stylistic element of our band very, very seriously, and we know our references, and we have a lot of left field or cool references, but we're also not afraid to be like totally into Michael McDonald.
Yeah.
Michael McDonald's who we're listening to like all the time at the moment. We can't stop listening to Michael McDonald.
Interesting.
And we laugh when we're listening to him because it's so ridiculous. But
you like it.
I just love, like, I'm over trying to, like, my band has been together for like 13 years. We've been a cool post-rock band. We've been this band. I don't care about the rules of music or what you're allowed to like anymore. If it sounds good to you and it resonates with you, then that's what it's about.
That's what it's about. So welcome back to New Jersey. I was told that you've been here before. You've been touring across the country for the past couple of weeks now. How are things different here in the States than they are if you're performing at home in England?
Well,
are the fans different?
Well, I mean, people always ask you that, and it's always dependent on what country you are. So Germany, like, well, the German fans, like, what I seem to notice is that is the consistency as opposed to the difference.
Sure.
Of course, like I always say, the selection of fans will have a more common hair color over here or cheekbone structure over there, but as people, as earthlings, they're all the same. And there's no real change in dynamic to our shows wherever we play, apart from Japan, which is completely different.
How so?
Because they are so they take their fandom so seriously that it's like, once their job of being a fan is finished, cheering, then they're silent and they appreciate you. So they go mental and then they're silent. And it's really weird to get used to.
Okay.
But yeah, it's quite amazing. So that's the only place that's actually really different.
Interesting. So let's talk about, you mentioned no fear in terms of liking what you like in terms of music. And you've shown that you speak your mind. You're not afraid to say what it is you feel. And you know, with what has happened in Orlando, you had some choice words for... was it Dan Patrick, I believe?
Yeah.
Do you ever have any regrets to the things that you say on social media or in interviews publicly? Is it like, maybe I shouldn't have said that?
Yeah, normally, yeah, sometimes, but normally when it's surrounding something, normally if I've spoken my mind on something that doesn't really matter or like that is superficial or maybe I should have just shut up about, I'm not gonna shy away from like important things. Sure. It's difficult, man, because like, you know, you've got all these people, these followers, right? It's such a funny word as well because it provokes this kind of sense of, I don't know, like leadership, and it's difficult to be like a pop star and not have people think that you're like trying to educate the world, and like, who's this young kid thinks that he knows everything about the world. But I'm not gonna, I feel a duty to stand up against like ideas that promote inequality, of course, you know, because I don't agree with it, and like, you know, people should be able to talk about how they feel, you know. And I mean, I love this country. It's one of the things. It's like, it's one of the freest countries in the world, but it's a weird place to come to as an artist because, like, you know, I you know, it's the Orlando thing, and anyway, I don't want to talk about it because I feel like I need to. I don't want to talk about it.
Got it. Okay. Can we talk about, though? Would you have a different approach given what happened to Christina Grimmie? Would you have a different approach to how your meet and greets would go? Like, is that something that you know, industry wide? Is it like, let's think about this?
Okay, are we gonna do this? Do you want to talk about this?
Do you?
Yeah. Okay. I'm not doing it anymore.
Really?
In America.
Okay.
I don't want to do it anymore.
Until something
changes, and I know nothing's going to change. I mean, now, like the problem with America. I mean, listen, it's difficult being a British person talking about another country because the first thing is like, you don't have a right to talk about it. I totally get that, but just as an objective earthling, as a human being, it's like, if you've got these two like birth defects, and I mean that in the way that, like, you know, like institutionalized racism and guns, they're there and they're so heavily ingrained in society. When you've got like black people being murdered on streets named after Confederate generals,
Sure.
and you've got situations like that, and then you've got people who would rather see toddlers being shot in the head than give over their guns. So then what do you do about guns? You have an amnesty, and that only addresses the people who want to give up their guns anyway.
Right.
So then what do you say? Right, we're taking your guns. Then you create a civil war in America,
Sure.
which seems to be what certain people like Donald Trump want to create anyway, some kind of Wild West situation. But it's just, so it's weird. What do I think when a young pop star goes outside and gets shot? What am I supposed? How is it a legitimate fear of mine to be scared of that? I think it is.
Absolutely.
And it's not about ego. It's not me thinking John Lennon.
Right.
This girl was a kid off American Idol or something. Right?
The Voice, yeah.
The Voice.
Yeah, from New Jersey.
And
yeah.
that's not to diminish anybody's credibility or anything like that, but she's not. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not Lady Gaga or like who's.
Right.
I don't know. So it's a weird time.
Yeah.
And people are scared to talk about it.
But you're not.
Well, I suppose I am. But I'll do it anyway.
And we appreciate that, of course. But let's talk about something a bit lighter. Your album. Again, congratulations on debuting at #1 on the Billboard 200.
Thank you.
You have this new single called The Sound, and I was reading that The Sound was originally made for the first album, but it didn't quite fit.
It was, yeah. I think it was. The chorus was written a long time ago, and it was so it's such an in-your-face song. I think that we've always spoken about not having any fear of being a pop band.
Right.
But I think that at the time that song was so poppy,
Yeah.
we were a bit scared of it. And I think once we started making I Like It When You Sleep, and it became apparent that it was so eclectic,
Yeah.
it kind of just was the perfect context for that song. And then once we did it, we were kind of like, well,
This
maybe
works.
this is our biggest song.
Yeah,
You know?
it's an amazing song. How are you going to? And it might be too early to tell. The album just dropped a few months ago, but with an album that's like 16, 17 tracks, it's over an hour long. How do you top something like that? Like, how do you? In what direction could you see the next album going?
I mean, I don't know. I think that, it's always good to think that you could be like Radiohead, where every album is like a distillation of the album that preceded it. They take everything that was great from what they did before, and they kind of reinvent themselves, but kind of do it again at the same time. I think it has to be about reinvention, and then the fear of alienation is always going to be there. Do you know what I mean? But look at like when Dylan went electric. I'm not comparing myself to Bob Dylan. I'm not comparing myself to Bob Dylan.
You have to make that very clear.
But I mean, I think that the only way that we could is to stay relevant, is to keep reinventing ourselves and therefore keep being relevant.
Right. Interesting. Okay, so congratulations, like I said, again, on the album. Are you working on new music?
Yeah.
Okay. You're constantly working on new music?
We're constantly working on new music. At the moment, we have a particular project that we're very heavily involved in, which is going to be a live show we're doing later in the year. But and there's kind of not new material, but there's a lot of different arrangements, and
Okay.
I've been writing all the new music videos and that kind of thing. So
Nice.
But we're always working on new music.
Yeah.
I mean, if I hear something
Yeah.
and run off to a piano, I suppose I'm working on new music. So
Got it. Interesting. Well, everyone check out their most recent album. It just came out just a few months ago. It was #1. Their new single, The Sound, is available now. You can check them out on iTunes. Hit them up on the1975.com is their
That's
website.
right.
It's our new friend, Matt Healy from the 1975. Thank you so much, Matt.
thank you.
Reset your preset. Fun 1071. More music, more fun.